In this video, you're going to be learning how you can sniff on network using a really powerful tool named Wireshark. So, let's get started. But first, we have to learn how this works. If you already know that, these are the timestamps for this video. Refer to them. Okay? Now let's understand what we are really doing here. We are using a attack named poisoning. Let's understand that. This is your Wi-Fi router at your house. Okay? This is your mobile phone. Let's connect those two. Boom, connected. Let's add another device. Your laptop, basically. Okay? Your laptop was added to the Wi-Fi network. So your phone is sending some request to your Wi-Fi network to give it to the internet. Your laptop is sending some request to your Wi-Fi network to send it to the internet. All you are doing with the Wi-Fi network is taking your requests, putting it on the Wi-Fi network. The Wi-Fi network is using your internet service provider, like those companies, Airtel, Vodafone, AT&T. Okay. Now let's connect all of this to the internet. So your internet service provider is connecting the Wi-Fi network to the internet, and your phone is being connected to the internet service provider by your Wi-Fi router. We are going to be intercepting this right here. Okay. Now let's understand something in detail. Let's erase all of that. Okay. Now let's say that your phone wants to send a request to the internet. Okay. Now it has a specific address. Every device that you have on the internet has a specific address, name its MAC address. Okay. Now let's say that this phone's MAC address was ABC. The MAC address of the Wi-Fi router XYZ, and the Wi-Fi address of this right here would be, I don't know, PQR. And last but not least, we'll connect ourselves to this network. Boom, connected. And let's say 123. Let's erase that for a second because we won't be needing that. Let's understand it for the phone basically. Now ABC wants to send a request to XYZ. ABC knows that XYZ, the Wi-Fi router is living on XYZ because of a protocol named ARP. Okay. Now ARP tells ABC that the Wi-Fi router is living on XYZ. Now we're gonna poison ARP as the name suggests. Now what we'll say, we'll poison ARP and we'll let ARP say to the phone that, hey ABC, the Wi-Fi router is no longer living at XYZ. No. It shifted. Now it is living at 123. So ARP will tell ABC that the Wi-Fi router is on 123. ARP. Poisoned. Okay. Now that's not enough. We need more. Okay. Now ARP also tells XYZ that the phone is living on ABC. We are going to poison that too. We will be telling XYZ that the phone is not living at ABC. No. It shifted. Now it is living at 123. You see what I'm doing? We are redirecting the requests from the Wi-Fi router and from the phone to ourselves. Now, if we allow this, we can simply resume the communication. If we don't, we can break that. Isn't that cool? So that's how harp poisoning really works. So now let's use a tool named Wireshark to execute what all we have seen. So now that we know how tools like Wireshark can sniff everything on our Wi-Fi router with a protocol named ARP poisoning, we will jump onto the execution. We will be downloading and installing Wireshark, and we will be playing with the tools a bit. So to download Wireshark, you have to go on your default web browser and type download Wireshark. Click on the first link that appears right here. Click on that and it will take you to this page. If you can't find this page, I will also leave this in the description below so you can check it out from there. Now I am on Mac OS. That is why this icon is coming in front of this option. If you are on a Windows, this icon will probably show on this or this, which is the compatible device with Wireshark. Click on that and it'll take you to this window. All you have to do is that you have to save it in a folder that you want. Okay, I want it to be in my downloads folder. There we go. Okay, save that, and we have Wireshark downloading. Now, I obviously won't keep you waiting for that long, so I'll see you when it's done. Now, I will be canceling my download because I already have this installed. But after your download is done, all you have to do is that you have to open that file, go through the installation, and in Mac, as you can see, you will be reaching. If you go on your downloads and you click on that, you will get a disk something like this. If you are on Windows, you will simply follow every instruction for the installation wizard and keep all the settings at default. So in Mac, I will just drag Wireshark to my applications folder, something like this. But in my case, I've already done that. So to open that, I'm going to type Wireshark and it'll open it for me. Okay, so now we have Wireshark installed. We can start sniffing on networks right now. I have an active Wi Fi connection on my Wi Fi EN1 port, and I know that because I'm seeing some unusual lines on that. As you can see, like I'm seeing some unusual lines on that. So you have to click on the interface which you have connected to the internet or you have connected to the device which you want to sniff on. Double click on that and you will simply get everything that Wireshark is sniffing on your device. I'm filming this video in the middle of the night, so I probably won't have much traffic on my Wi Fi router. But in your case, I'm sure you would have a ton of traffic. Let's stop that. Now we can refine our search for exactly what we want. We can tell Wireshark that, hey, Wireshark, I don't want this. I want exactly that. So I don't want you to sniff everything that is coming onto the Wi Fi network. I only want you to sniff this particular thing. Okay. So now let's see how we can do that. Or simply go on your terminal in your Mac or Linux, or if you are on a Windows, just search for command line in your start bar, and you will reach your command prompt. Press enter. In my case, I already have Nmap installed in my device. I'm gonna just cd out of all my folders. Okay, so now in my case I already have Nmap installed. If you don't, I will leave the installation page in the description below. Download and install Nmap from there and then come back. Okay, so type Nmap sn, that specifies that I have to scan a whole router with all its ports. So nmap sn 192.168.0.1. Most of you will have this IP address for your router, but those of you who don't, I am going to show you how you can do that. Open a new terminal and type ARP all. Okay, ARP as we talked about earlier, and this A flag is for all. So as you can see, we are getting this as our Ethernet port and it is an IF scope. Don't worry about this is the MAC address and this is the IP address. So this is the IP address of your router. Okay. Go back to your previous terminal and then write /24 to this. So in your IP address, you have to add the /24 command because that specifies that I have to scan all the ports that are available. Hit enter and Nmap will start doing its job. Okay, we have got one host up. As I told you, I am making this video in the middle of the night, so I won't have much hosts available on my Wi-Fi network. But this is my Wi-Fi network's IP address, and this is my IP address, which I am connected to right now from that Wi-Fi network. So if you have multiple devices on your Wi-Fi network, you will probably see more than this. Okay. Now that we have that, so you have to just copy your IP address. I'm going to be hacking my own computer in this tutorial. You can hack anyone you want, but please don't hack anyone unless and until you have their explicit permission. Okay? Just copy this, go back to Wireshark, and then you have to find this apply a display filter in the top. Okay? Here, just type ip.addr, addr is equals to that specifies that I have to scan packets for a specific IP address, and I want to scan the packets that are coming from this IP address and going to this IP address. Okay, paste that IP address and boom, you have that. Press enter. Okay, start Wireshark once again, continue it without saving. And now I'm not gonna get much packets because I'm not active or anything, but I'm gonna show you how you can get those. Okay, now let's refine our search even more. As you can see these protocols right here, and as we discussed in the chapter where I told you how this all worked, there are some encryption, there are some protocols that have enabled encryption. And you might have heard of HTTPS and HTTP. What is the difference between those two? HTTPS is most secure because it encrypts its request, as we discussed earlier. And HTTPS is not that secure, and most of the websites don't use that nowadays. So we are going to be attacking HTTPS because that displays everything in plain text. To target only HTTPS packets or HTTP packets, space and an in your reply filter and an HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, press enter, start sniffing. Okay, now I'm not gonna get anything, but if I go onto my browser and let's say I type oneweb.com, that is a website that was designed to be hacked. Okay, go back to Wireshark and we have, as you can see, we have two HTTP requests. Let's examine those. To examine that, right click, follow HTTP stream. It'll take you to this. Okay, great. Now, what is this exactly? We have the website name right here as we searched. The host was oneweb.com and it was a GET request. There are two types of requests. One is a POST request and the other one is a GET request. These two requests are really, really important to understand in web development. I'm not gonna get into mm, I'm not gonna get into something deep. I'm just gonna tell you briefly what these two do. A GET request is a request where we request something from the website, and a POST request is a request where we tell the website to post something on its server and put it in there. So we are getting all sorts of really useful information. We are getting oneweb.com, we are getting the accepted encoding, we are getting the accepted languages, we are getting the servers Nginx. Most of the servers are Nginx or let's say Apache and so on. And as you can see, we have some requests. But what is the other request? I'm sorry, I forgot to stop that. But this was the other request that came out. Okay. Now let's examine that. Go and follow and then go on TCP stream. But no, as you can see in the first request, we have 192.168.135. That was my IP address. The destination was OneWeb's IP address. And in the second case, OneWeb was told by our web browser that, hey, OneWeb, my IP address needs to access your website. So give your IP address. OneWeb said, okay. So OneWeb gave its IP address to the web browser, and our Wireshark captured the packet that came from this destination that was oneweb.com, and it went to this destination that was my IP address. So now I hope you have a good understanding of how all of these things work. Okay. So now, okay, that's all for this video. And if you liked it, please don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below which tutorial video should I do next. And I'll see you next time.